Yes.
All right, I'll call the meeting to order. Will you please stand and join me in the pledge of allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Let the minutes reflect that all supervisors are present. Before we approve the consent agenda, I'd like to remove item 3CB from the agenda. Resolution for transfer from general funds. Removing it altogether.
Okay.
Just scratch it for today.
Okay. In that case, I'll make a motion to approve the agenda with modifications as chair asked. Second.
And the consent agenda at the same time in one motion?
Yeah.
Okay.
I did say consistent.
All right. So we have a motion by Shea, second by Jorgensen to approve the consent agenda and the agenda for today as modified. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Thank you. Next up, we have John Rasmussen, engineer, to open bids for the Dumfries Avenue and 240th Street paving project.
You guys like the bid tabs, or would you like us to tabulate some of you again?
How many bids did you get, John?
We have three.
Awesome.
3 bids. And I believe the motion today is just to open the bids. It's not to take action on the bids. All right, so I will entertain a motion to open the bids.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Belt, second by Shea to open the bids for the Dumfries Avenue and 240th Street paving project.
Got the move.
This is 2 different projects. It's Dumfries and 240th Street.
Yes, there's 2 different projects. Dumfries is one segment of the road. Engineer's estimate was 1.3 million on that one. Then there's a segment on 240th Street, and the estimate is approximately 1.4 million on that one. I'm fighting a letter opener here. And I was fighting and handed him. The bond's complete for Omni.
G Midwest.
And there's a signed proposal as well. For the Dumfries segment, their proposed cost was $1,152,458.30.
I'm sorry, who's this?
Omni,
OMG.
you might say OMG on your edge. Oh my God. That was the Dumfries number. The 240th Street is $1,357,504.70. Total bid was $2,509,963. But Brandon sickle that back in the envelopes. Next one opening is Western Engineering. Funds complete. Fine. For the first segment for Western Engineering on Dumfries, proposed amount was $1,083,000. $714.11. The 240th Street segment was $1,287,434.23. Total bid amount was $2,371,148.33 Just trying to take it. On paper, PCI or Peterson Contractors Inc. Proposal signed, PCI. The dumper segment for PCI is $1,034,180.05.
I'm sorry, John, what was that? One more time, please?
$1,034,180.05. Then on 240th Street, it's $1,202,437.89. For a total bid amount of $2,236,617.94. I did have one other bid that came in after the deadline. I just will not open that one.
It's nice, came in lower.
We'll review the bids, then bring it back for award next week. We'll check them out and everything.
Great. Thank you very much, John. All right, next up on the agenda, Don Rasmussen, engineer, discussion and or decision to establish the Honeysuckle Road Special Assessment District, set the cost share amount and interest rate for apportionment. And if you remember back to the September 5th, 2023 meeting, at that meeting, the board rejected the petition as presented by the Honeysuckle Road Secondary Roads Assessment District. But then we moved and seconded to have the engineer provide the board with new numbers to modify and approve the Honeysuckle Road Secondary Roads Assessment. And that's what we're here for today. Want to give more history?
The total cost estimate for the improvement is $223,253. So that's the cost. Beyond that, we need to approve the apportionment. There was an original apportionment made at the time of petition. That was based on a 260 vehicles per day traffic count provided by the DOT. Further along in the process, someone discovered the DOT count was wrong. It's actually 70, so there's another estimate for that one, apportionment. So we can have those two. Then there's another option thrown out that I would average the two. So we just need to select one of those apportionment methods so I can move forward to the final resolution.
John, is the 70 on the DOT's
It's
website?
not on the they won't update the website until the next traffic count, which is coming this year.
And this one's how old?
This was in 2016. We didn't get a traffic count in 2020 due to COVID. So the traffic counts are down, so they just stopped doing them. So we're about 8 years behind on traffic count.
So the 260, was that before the dam was in there?
I think they said that was another road and they had drug it on. It was just an error, copy and paste sort of error or something to that effect, so.
Huh.
We used the DOT numbers because we were worried if we did traffic counts locally, it has to be something, you know, you could game, I guess. If you have traffic counters over there, you could just,
Yeah.
you could influence that number. So we thought the DOT numbers were safer since they're published and routinely done, but it didn't really work out for us, so. Definitely some regrets there, I guess.
So what are you thinking we should do with this then? Between,
I'm kind of odds here. I mean, it's public hearing, so I think you probably should take comments from people that haven't spoke on the subject yet, for sure.
It's not on the agenda for a public hearing.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
not.
it didn't?
So
But you sent out letters telling everybody that it was a public hearing.
You look at the agenda though, it says 10 after 10. Rather than public hearing.
10, discussion and or decision to establish the Honeysuckle Road Special Assessment. But I think your letter that you probably sent to the property owners indicated that there would be an opportunity to speak this morning. So what we're prepared to do is, if you haven't spoken to us before, if you're new property owners or if you're new to the table and you want to talk about pro or against setting up the district, we will allow 3 minutes per person to make those comments. And we will start with those that are in favor of establishing the special assessment district, not knowing exactly what the total cost is going to be, because that will be decided after all of the public hearing comments are made. So is there anybody here that hasn't spoken in favor of setting up the special assessment district that hasn't spoken to us in the past?
This is Jamie Jagger. I don't know if you can hear me.
Yes, Jamie, we can hear you.
Okay. I haven't, I've been watching the meetings. I haven't been able to make it to the meetings, but we're for the road. We're the second house on the left. I just think it, would be good for our road. Obviously, there's been a lot of back and forth, but I just wanted to tell you, we're definitely for it. It'll increase value to all of our houses, and I have young kids, and so I think it'll be great. So.
Thank you, Jamie.
Yep.
Are there others that want to speak for the special assessment district? You've
Did you-
spoken in the past? Yeah. All right.
Are we allowed to allow somebody else to speak on our behalf if we haven't spoken in the past, if we're a new property owner?
Yes, that's what we want to hear from, is the new property owners.
My question was, are we allowed to let somebody else speak on our behalf?
If they haven't spoke before, they can't.
We want to come up to the podium.
Name your address.
You're welcome. I'm not ready yet, if that's okay.
We're going to move on to those opposed to the special assessment district. Unless you want to.
I have spoke before, but I have some new information that I think the board needs to be aware of. I got a whole presentation, but I could cover just that one topic. And it'd take me just a minute or two.
We have heard from you in the past.
Yes, you have.
And have you provided the new information to our,
No, because I just
Engineer?
found out this weekend.
okay, well, that's been kind of the whole problem about this district, is there's no set time. It's like it's a moving deadline, and it just keeps rolling forward with new facts and new fiction, and but we just need things to level set on this day and time. These are the facts, and this is what we need to make our decision on.
That is a fact, and it has to do with the petition itself. We just,
Yeah, we've accepted the petition several months ago.
there's an error that nobody's aware of.
Yeah.
Speak again.
It should have been brought public before.
That's why I was here today, to bring that forward.
I guess we were told we could speak.
That's what the letter indicated. We could speak today at the hearing.
Whether we spoke before or not.
I wasn't under that impression. I didn't know which way this was gonna go, so I was prepared for whatever. I'm happy to just follow the procedures and protocols that you're laying out.
It's kind of a continuation. Our chair has let that happen today for people that haven't spoke. one of the things is if we let someone that spoke before, then we gotta let everybody speak again, and we're back to square one. And I feel the board should move one way or the other, be done with this. We've messed with it for years.
Okay, so we are moving forward to hear from anybody who is against setting up the special assessment district, who hasn't spoke before.
Can I ask questions of clarification?
After we get through all of the public comments,
Now, to clarify what some issues are.
you've spoken to us before. I'd like
Yeah, but
I'd like to hear from anybody who hasn't spoken before us that is not in favor of the special assessment district. So everybody else here that's with regard to the honeysuckle, you are property owners and you have spoken to us one way or the other in the past. Is that correct? I don't want to leave anything unturned here. It's okay. So we have three things to decide today. First of all, we need to decide if we're moving forward with the special assessment district. And if we are, what the cost share amount is going to be set at. And the third is the interest rate for the apportionment.
So you need a
I
motion
can't hear.
to move on to the special assessment.
I'm sorry.
I can't hear. The conversation over here is a lot to hear.
We need a motion to move on the special assessment first.
Well, Susan, just to clarify, at the last board meeting, this board voted to move forward with the special assessment on this project.
That
The only question was the amount of assessment that we were gonna put, that the property owners were gonna pay. We voted on moving forward or denying it once before.
that's not what the minutes reflect.
Well, we had this conversation. I mean, we already voted on this to move forward.
That was my understanding too.
That's my understanding. I was out there to take some assessment.
So all we're really doing here, and believe me, if I had another, I don't want to go there. The board voted, I don't remember if it's 3-2 or 4-1 to move forward with this. So 4-1, is that what it was? Okay, then our only decisions to be made today are the assessment and the interest rate. That's it.
I think, Kristen, I'll lean to you on this one. Yeah, the way the agenda is written, and it kind of coincides with the way that the minutes were. We need to make a decision today to establish the Honeysuckle Road Special Assessment District and to set the cost share amount and the interest rate for apportionment.
That was my understanding.
John, is that your understanding?
Yes.
So do we need to vote on them all separate?
We can do it all in one motion if you'd like, or we haven't talked about that. John has presented 4 options to us as far as the traffic cost or the traffic volume and what that cost would be. And I kind of like the idea of going with the average of the two, with the 260 we know is incorrect and the 70 appears to be too low. So finding that average in there. John, did you provide any of these? When you sent out the public notice, what information did you provide to the property owners?
All the things I brought, didn't bring a copy of that one. You got that?
Yeah, Ms. Miller, I believe those minutes are wrong. We voted on this already.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, you can ask the people that are here that,
We did vote.
This is the assessment. We're here to talk about the final cost.
exactly.
But that's not what the minutes reflect. From the September 15th.
It doesn't change the outcome of the previous.
Well, in the interest of keeping it all up and up, do you want a motion to approve the district?
I think we need one motion to approve the district, the cost share and the interest rate.
Okay,
Wait a minute. No, I think we should do those one at a time.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure that this board's gonna agree on the assessments.
Oh, that's
Stuff.
true.
Yeah, you're right.
so I'll make a motion to approve the special assessment district for Honeysuckle Road
Second.
in the interest of keeping it up and up.
Repeat your motion.
Pardon?
Repeat your motion.
To approve the special assessment district for Honeysuckle Road.
Okay, we have a motion by Shay, a second by Jorgensen. Additional discussion?
The only thing I would add, Ms. Miller, is that I firmly believe we've already voted on this. I'm gonna vote according to how I voted previously.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
All right, motion has carried.
Got that handled.
All right, so the next motion or the next discussion is on the cost share amount. Where
John,
did John go?
you kind of bounced around on us, the cost share.
In the room or on the contract? The teams both sides of the room. So originally started the cost share was a higher amount for the traffic count. And the enforcement to the petitioners at that time, and this is when the petition was signed, so this is what they saw when they signed, was 122,101.20. That's what went out to petitioners. 70 obviously went the other way, but then if you average the two, the enforcement was $159,072.50. So it jumped up about 37,000 there.
Which is still less than what the 70 is.
Yes, the 70 amount was 196,021.80. So that traffic count really weighs heavily on the maintenance costs we have, which is a credit to the petitioners. Plus the work we have to do.
Ms. Miller, I believe that this was, everything about it is wrong in the beginning. I will say that when the petitioner got the signatures, they knew what their costs were
Based on the,
based on the original.
which was the 260
No,
traffic count.
Yep, which is 122,101.20.
Okay.
We deviate from that. I don't think we're fair to those people who signed the petition, fully knowing what their costs are. So if I just can't change the traffic count. They got the signatures on the petition, knowing what the costs were.
2 years ago.
I know it's 2 years ago, but I mean, look what's happened in those 2 years. You know, we've had parcels change hands. We've had parcels that weren't included, that should have been included. I mean, we can go right down the list, but
Okay, construction cost increase.
to keep changing and changing and changing. This was if we're gonna accept the original petition as it was signed, I think we accept the original costs. So with that, I would make a motion to accept the original costs that were provided to the petitioner to get the signatures, which is 122,101.20.
Have a motion by Wickman. Is there a second?
I'd second that.
You repeat that amount, Tim, for the
122,101.20.
We have a motion by Wickman, a second by Belt to approve the cost of 122,101.20. Is there additional discussion?
Real quick, I agree, Tim, I agree with you. It's the date the petition was originally submitted, I think that's the date that you're looking at. That's what you're saying. Is that correct?
I'm saying the numbers that I believe were provided to the petitioner on the original estimate of the costs and the original estimate of the assessment for the parcels that were in the project, that's where we need to stay.
No, I don't ever want to see this process play out again.
It won't.
Okay, we decided that already. But based on how we're going to accept petitions in the future, right? Okay. I'm all on board with what you're saying.
Okay. Call for a vote.
All right. All those in favor?
Uh,
Opposed? That motion is carried. All right, the final piece is setting the interest rate for the apportionment. John indicates we are not bonding for this. The project has been budgeted, so we aren't paying bond interest. Does your recommendation still stand to do?
Yeah, so originally I started with the interest rate. I started with, there's a website that what we can charge was 9%. I just started with half of the maximum provided by the state for you guys to figure out how this goes through, but the project's budgeted now in our budget. Won't be bonding for it, so we won't have interest costs ourselves.
So where you recommended we do?
Let's go to 0.
I'll make a motion, we go to 0% interest.
Second.
Motion by Shay, second by Jorgensen to approve 0% as the interest rate for the apportionment. Additional discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Motion is carried. Thank you all very much. I know this has been a long process. We've learned a lot from it. We've put policy in place that hopefully will direct us in the future so that we don't have this time of issue again. And John, thank you for all of your time that you put into this and it's budgeted. So
I think when we started, you didn't have gray hair.
No.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
is Jessica Tooley here. Oh, no wonder I couldn't see you. Please come forward.
I'm Jessica Tooley. I'm the Layton Township Clerk. I'm here on behalf of Layton Township trustees. We not only do the fireside, we have a cemetery. So we are asking if we can have more than 3 meetings a year. With the cemetery, we have a lot of, I won't say we have a high volume of people visiting the cemetery, but we have quite a few funerals a year. And with that comes things we need to discuss and
Business.
yes, business stuff to do. So,
How many meetings did you have in 2023?
I believe we had 7.
And what is your request for this?
I would like to have at least that many. We have a fire budget meeting in January with the Walton Fire Department. And then we have our 3 required meetings. And then, we had several after that.
Make a motion.
I'll second.
We have a motion by Belt, second by Shay to approve Layton Township to hold more than 3 meetings up to 8 per year. And
Hold on, Susan, can I just start a discussion here?
well, yes, because
You know, so far, we've had townships come in and they've gone from 12 or from 3 to 12 to 10. And I mean, we need to have some kind of a policy or procedure in place so we're not all over the place. I just think that we need to, the board levies for these costs.
correct.
Now, it's minimal, very minimal, because of, what is it, $50 a meeting.
I get,
We
I
just
get per
raised it.
person. It's $50 a meeting, and then as the clerk, I get another $50 a month that I can request for book work.
Well, I just think that we need to have a discussion, maybe come together and find a number. Say this is that.
But I thought we were gonna do that at January meeting every year for all the townships.
So we just keep going willy-nilly until January.
Well, I mean, we've already, can't go back on the ones we've already done, I guess. I don't know. Well, every.
There's a lot more happening out there. Homes, funerals, fires, definitely. Each of those fire departments are growing. It's a big deal out there.
So we set a maximum of 10?
I think we could, but that wouldn't be on this agenda, would it?
No.
Okay.
No, it's just.
8 or 10, I think would do.
Yeah, so we can at least have some kind of an idea of what we're budgeting for,
Right.
because right now we don't. I mean, we have 3 trustees on some of them.
They're all three trustees.
Does
Well,
that include
Lewis
the
may
bookkeeper
have,
too?
Lewis may have more.
Yes.
Lewis has 7.
Blue has, let's see. They have 4 trustees and then their clerks.
They have 4 trustees. But I think most of the rest of them are just 3.
So if you get 3 trustees and the clerk, that's $200 a meeting. If they have 10,
Oh, the
$2,000.
clerk's getting paid anyway.
Pardon me?
The clerk's getting paid,
She just said she gets an extra $50.
no, every month for doing the
Right.
books.
I
She'll
can
get-
request that.
She'll get $50 a month just for, doing the book work. But for the trustees, they meet, those 3 required plus other intermittent weeks.
Dixie, how many townships do we have?
28.
28.
So
So when you had 28 times $2,000, now you're at 56,000. That's a penny on, that's almost 3 pennies on the rural levy where this comes from. So I think it's, I don't have any issues moving forward today. I just think it's something that maybe this board should have a discussion about, set it and send it out to them and let them know this is where we're at. With that,
I
I'll
agree.
vote yes, then moving forward.
All right. So we have the motion to approve. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried.
Thank you.
Jessica, thank you for coming in.
Thanks for what you guys do.
Thank
It's a
you.
thankless job, isn't it?
It is.
Yes.
All right. Next up, we have Golden Hills, and Kara's not with us today, but we have Lance. If you want to come up here in the middle, so we can
Right.
hear you.
So basically, pretty similar to last year's presentation. I'll just kind of run through this document, or overview. And I also gave you a one pager. That's kind of a summary of the project in Pot County, specifically in the last few years. So, Golden Hills RC&D started in 1981. We were among RC&Ds around the country that were federally funded. That federal funding ended in 2011. Since then, we've been really dependent on grants and donations and fees for service. So county funding has been really helpful for kind of the operational expenses that aren't tied to a specific grant deliverable. Our mission is to collaboratively develop and lead community conservation and cultural initiatives to improve quality of life in rural western Iowa. So here's a map here. Our office is in Oakland. We work primarily southwest Iowa. Officially, our bylaws include 12 counties, basically Carroll, everything south and west of there. We do, some of our projects go north and east of that though, so really kind of western Iowa region. I'll run through our staff quick. So Karen Morgan is our director. I'm Lance Brisboy, the deputy director. Jackie Johnson is our fiscal manager. We have 2 office assistants, Don Carter and Rhonda McCready. Seth Brooks, he's here today. He's a project coordinator, primarily working on scenic byways and outdoor recreation and tourism. And then we have Sean Ahern, who mostly works on water resources projects, and Jamie Fowler does local foods. So we have 5 primary program areas, and then everything kind of falls into community partnerships too. So land stewardship, outdoor recreation and tourism, water resources, local food, and arts and culture. And a lot of those overlap too. So I'll just run through real quick some of the land stewardship projects we've done a lot with. Prairie seed harvesting, working with county conservation, getting volunteers to go pick seed. And then they use that for restoration, and we also do a native plant sale in the spring. Outdoor recreation and tourism, we've done quite a bit with trails and park development, wildlife areas. And we also do a lot with scenic byways, coordinating scenic byways, encouraging people to visit Potawatomi County in southwest Iowa. Water resources, we do a lot with the East and West Nishnabotna watershed, and then we've gotten some newer grants. We're working with farmers on conservation and regenerative agriculture practices. And local foods, we've been working a lot with local food producers in southwest Iowa on helping people get started and expand. We work with farmers markets, local stores, and restaurants, and promoting local foods. And arts and culture, we have coordinated Southwest Iowa art tour in the past, and we've worked with the Painted Camel in Macedonia. We're working on a project right now with some murals on the byways. And Hungry Canyons Alliance is a project that is based out of our office. It's a separate organization, but John Thomas is the director of that, and they do a lot with erosion, specifically relating to infrastructure. So on this page, like I said, just kind of a summary, but I do want to mention a couple things. This year, we're on the planning committee for the Iowa Trail Summit, which has always been in eastern and central Iowa. And this October will be the first time it's in western Iowa in Council Bluffs. So that's pretty exciting. We just decided that about 10 days ago, so we haven't really announced it publicly, but it'll be a great opportunity to show off Potawatomi County. And then we've helped a lot with the Wells Hills, Missouri River Region Parks People Project, which helped get new cabins at Arrowhead. We got the new pavilion at Hitchcock. Some trail projects were involved with that too. And then we have with local foods, we did a Dream to Farm class at Iowa Western. We had trained 14 people on food production, business planning, that kind of stuff to start a small farm. And we have a local Southwest Iowa local food guide, which is an interactive map and website where people can go find vegetable, meat producers and processors, as well as other like farmers markets and grocery stores that sell local produce. So it's a very quick overview summary. Anyone have questions?
Do you support organic food?
We do. We don't specifically only target that, but there are some programs that we do. And if someone asks, someone's interested in that, we can definitely help them find the resources.
A lot more of that out there.
I
Yeah.
serve on the board for Golden Hills, and I'm amazed at the programs that you're involved with and the outreach. And
Yeah. Everything we do is really heavy with education too. That's kind of our main thing.
Lance, I'm sorry,
Go ahead.
of the 25 counties like that are involved, how many of those provide funds?
Right now, I think we are getting, currently we have 2 counties, and then we have requested from or gotten funding from in recent years from 2 more counties, and then we're going to request funding from all the others in the blue region, the 12 counties.
Well, I counted all of those that were shaded.
Yep, so there's a blue line there. Those are the ones that are officially in our bylaw.
Oh, okay. I didn't catch that. But you said there's 12.
Yep.
Okay, then let me rephrase my question. How many of those 12 counties provide funding for Golden Hills RCD?
Currently, it is 2. And we have 4 new counties as of last year. We haven't requested funding from them yet, but we will.
Mitch, we've contributed to Golden Hills RCD for as long as I can remember. Is those funds come out of gaming? Where they come from? Susan, I'll make a motion to approve the funding request 15,000 for Golden Hills RCD coming out of gaming revenue.
I will second that.
All right, we have a motion by Wickman, second by Shay to approve Golden Hills RC&D funding of 15,000 from the gaming fund. Additional discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Motion is carried.
Thank you.
Let's keep up the good work.
Thank
You guys do good.
Thanks for coming. Yeah. All right. Next up, Matt Lyon, Director of Planning and Development. Third consideration of ordinance number 2023-05, an ordinance to amend Chapter 8 zoning ordinance by adding wind energy and solar energy systems, case number ZTA-2023-03, and to adopt ordinance 2023-05 into law. And we've come a long ways with this one.
We have come a long ways with this. I do have Lee and Pam here with me today as well for any questions that you all may have, but we have, I think, really done our due diligence on this, on the documents that are all presented to you, and it meets all of the public feedback that we've heard, along with all of the board considerations that we put into this, thinking about our small towns, moving into the future, providing setbacks for them, our parks and recreation areas, providing setbacks for them, Council Bluffs Airport as well, providing setbacks for them to make sure that we can maintain our training airport that we have into the future. And I do really compliment Mr. Wickman on his comment that he had made at our last meeting. It is, you know, our regulations are set for what they are, and we are, it's our population that is really the factor in whether or not more windmills are placed in Potawatomi County. We're growing, we're set to grow more, and we sure don't want to hamper any of our small towns for their growth patterns, nor our Council Bluffs Airport. So,
With that, I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Shay, second by Jorgensen to approve the third consideration of ordinance number 2023-05. There additional discussion?
Pam, is that your recommendation?
Yes. Right. All those in favor?
I think,
Aye. Oh, roll call. Roll call.
Chairman Miller,
Aye.
Supervisors with me. Jorgensen,
Aye.
Shay,
Aye.
and Bell. Aye. Okay.
Thank you for all of your help along the way on this. So we've learned a lot in the process.
yeah, thanks for all your willingness to take that input that you did. So appreciate it. So the next steps, then this gets publicized. I mean, the dates are on the ordinance, but it will get public. Some of the summary will get publicized next Thursday.
Yes.
And then it'll get recorded, updated on the website.
In the papers?
Correct. We
Now,
have
this
to,
goes to effect today, or as it's passed?
upon publication, so that's publicized in the paper, and then
Publicizers.
yes, and then we'll come back and we'll probably get back on the agenda to remove the moratorium on there.
What about the towns that don't have newspapers?
The county has official newspapers. I believe the auditor sets those, don't you? And that's
Well, board sets, and we have three, that Avoca, Oakland, and Nonpareil. And if you don't have a paper, then it's always posted on the website. And if anybody's got a Facebook account, you can probably read it there through social media.
we do our best we can to get it out there.
You, put this on our website.
It does go chapter 8. So when the chapter 8 update goes through, then we'll revise that on the website. So if you
Make a link.
there is the county codes. You think you want something a little bit more specific?
Well, I just think that if there's a link on our webpage for people to specifically only see the ordinance that we just approved. We should be able to do that.
You can probably put it on the header on your news.
Yeah, we,
Homepage.
Will you work on that, man?
yeah, I'll work with Craig and we'll get it thrown up on the.
All right, thanks so much for.
The point is debating whether,
Is it still in the mix?
I believe it's in the mix.
Okay, I heard it. Didn't make it out of committee, but maybe they stuck it in another committee.
Heard it the other day.
It did not make the funnel,
That's what I heard.
That's what I heard.
but that doesn't. You know how they work.
They need to pass it. Get on with this.
All right.
Newspapers are disappearing,
They need to pass what, right?
so put these things on our websites and stuff and make a.
Two different issues
Oh, you lost me there.
Oh,
across the screens. All right, next up, Treasurer's Office, discussion and or decision to approve tax suspension pursuant to Iowa Code Section 427.9 for property located at 742 West Washington Avenue, Council Bluffs, Iowa.
this is a suspension. When the property sells, then they have to make up their taxes, correct?
Right.
This is for medical assistance.
I will make a motion to approve.
Second.
And by Shay, second by Jorgensen to approve the tax suspension on 742 West Washington Avenue. Additional discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion is carried. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next up, Tracy, no
cable.
something so simple and I mess it up. Environmental Health Coordinator, Planning and Development, discussion and or decision to approve the appointment of Tracy Nose Cable as County Weed Commissioner.
I'll make that motion to approve, Tracy.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to appoint Tracy Nose Cable again, reappoint. How many terms have you served?
2019.
Excellent.
You want to do it again, Tracy?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's it.
You get a lot of complaints.
Last year, we didn't get as many out in the pastures and fields. We had more, like in the local and residential areas. So I had about the same number, but usually was out in the, the pastures and stuff. And now it's mainly homeowners and had quite a few abandoned houses last year.
All right, we have a motion by Shay and a second by Jorgensen. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. And then we also have approve and sign resolution number 18-2024 entitled Resolution for the Destruction of Noxious Weeds.
So moved. Second.
Any discussion?
What is the most noxious weed?
Mainly the thistles.
Thistles, okay. Sunflowers are not an issue anymore.
No.
They used to be years ago, but
You get a lot of the nuisance stuff, but really the noxious, it's really, since I've been here, really haven't seen it change to the list.
Tracy, when I was a kid, they wanted the milkweed taken out. Now they're really pushing to keep that in, aren't they? For the butterflies. Still a noxious weed.
It's pretty interesting. We got the convention here, next month, and they always hit on a lot of different things and stuff is how quick it grows and pushes from the coast over. Like parsnip, when I was, the first couple of years, we had that really bad. Last year, we didn't get as many complaints on that.
Melvin, will you call the roll, please?
You bet. Sharon Miller,
Aye.
Supervisors Bell. Wickman. Shay,
Hi,
Jorgensen.
Aye.
thanks for doing that, Tracy. Another thankless job, huh?
Have a good summer and we'll see you next year.
All right, thanks a lot.
All right, next up, Becky Lenahan, Finance and Tax Officer. Discussion,
No,
there's
but
two of them. Discussion and or decision to approve and authorize board to sign resolution number 19-2024 entitled Resolution for Transfer from 2020 Bond Series 2220 Bond Series 2020A Debt Fund to 1620 Bond Series 2020A Capital Fund.
What are we doing? Just closing that out? Becky?
Good morning.
Yes.
After doing some looking at this, back when the original bond was deposited, they put some money, my predecessor put some money into the debt fund instead of all of it into the capital fund. So I'm just taking that amount that was put into there and putting it back into the capital fund.
Okay,
So
I make a motion to approve this resolution 19-2024.
I'll second.
I have a motion by Shay, a second by Jorgensen to approve resolution number 19-2024. Additional discussion? Melvin, will you call the roll, please?
Chairman Miller,
Aye.
Supervisors Belt, Wickman, Shay,
Aye.
Jorgensen.
Aye.
Thank you very much, Becky.
Thank you.
All right, next up, Jana Limerick, Director, Human Resources.
So it's our CB, is once, that's this next one. Is
That's
one
the one we
you took off.
left off.
Right,
All right.
we scratched it for this week.
I said,
We have
you said B, it's C, it's 3. I said 3, it's B.
Jim Garbina and Kim Gidley, FNIC.
Good morning.
Discussion and update on fiscal year 24-25 employee health insurance.
Morning.
Good morning.
Did I get the names right?
Yes.
Should put Kim's name first. She does all the work.
Thanks, Brian.
I recognize that, Kim.
Well, good morning. This is the annual review period for the medical renewal plan through the IGHCP, along with the other coverage lines. We've got a document in here that will walk through all of the coverages for the county and those associated costs. The real detail starts on page 9. But as everybody's getting to that page, just a little bit of a overview. So Potawatomi County participates in a program through the IGHCP. They have participated in that for a number of years. It has been a very strong program and frankly has protected the county's expenses in a big way. This year, the overall renewal of the program is calling for a 3.2% increase. So it's not a zero and not a negative. Healthcare continues to be a hungry animal in a lot of ways. And there's two things really driving healthcare in the last 2 years. And one of those is pharmacy costs are running at about a 13% trend. And then high cost medical is also running at double digits. There is a little bit of a hangover still going on from COVID, in which there was still that delayed services are causing much more higher cost claims. So the IGHCP was not immune to those claims, nor was the county. The county's loss ratio with Blue Cross is about 117%. So meaning claims dollars exceeded premium dollars by that level. in your packet, you will see an example. So this is an example of a renewal and how that would look if the county was on its own. And it's a separate attachment inside there. It's got the green header. Whoops. If everybody has that, what I want to reference is the green line at the bottom. And this is an actuarial tool that goes through your claims, takes out some of the large claims in the formula, ultimately adds in the expenses, but at a minimum basis, it would have been calling for a 12% increase in the county's budget to cover that plan. Now, a couple things have occurred, as you might recall from last year. We did change plans with Wellmark, and then we did have an increase in the out-of-pocket to the members of the plan. That just took effect in January 1. So we're just seeing what those impacts will be, and we'll report on those further this year as we get closer. But the renewal was quite good. On a national average, the renewals were running 6 to 8% for a large employer like yourselves. So not only did IGHCP improve the county, but they also were better than the national averages in terms of how the pool is functioning. There were some things, so I did meet with the head underwriter while I was at the conference with Jana, and we discussed IGHCP and some of the pressures that they are facing as well. And the last 6 months of 2023, so July through December, the whole industry saw this spike in claims activity. And that wasn't all calculated in the renewal this year. So we're hoping that will correct. But we do still see some winds out there that are still blowing pretty tough on these claims. We have one of our large customers pays about $60 million a year in healthcare costs. In 23, they finished the year at 72 million. So it's not just a small employer or a large employer issue. Wellmark's doing a good job of trying to control the cost increases from the providers. So most of the cost increases coming through more use of the plan. And that's what's driving healthcare expenses. So let me pause there and see what kind of questions the board may have before we talk about the other lines of coverage.
How was it we kept it at 3.2?
Well, the overall pool was running quite well through the renewal calculation period that Wellmark used. But there's a delay in claims that go on. So Wellmark was using a partial year of that along with the prior year, which was also better than average going on. The large claims within Potawatomi County were significant, and you can see those on this green line. Line item number 2 shows you the members that would be considered a high cost claimant and what percentage of the claims they drive. So you're protected, and Wellmark took those hits. It's a significant group. So Wellmark also has an interest in keeping everybody together. So they really try to keep their expenses low in order to make sure it's a benefit to all groups. But, Scott has participated in some of those meetings in the past. One of the things we talk about, which I don't anticipate, and there's no message of change going on, but if if the IGHCP is ever faced with a larger increase, they may look to apportion that increase more directly to the higher users.
Jim,
Yes.
is this a setup for next year?
No, and honestly, the underwriter didn't mention it, so there was no discussion of that, but I know how these pools run. We manage a lot of them. And if the pressure is big on everybody, then, fingers start to get pointed and they're going, well, how do we adjust the renewals to make it fairer for all participants? But certainly Pottawatomie County is a larger group. They have a lot of interest in keeping you in their pool. They've been willing to subsidize those costs now for years. The county made the right decision to change their plan designs in January. I think that will help. And we'll be happy to report back to you as those claims we start to see, hopefully moderate some.
Pottawatomie County has some various wellness programs, am I right?
Yes.
Okay, and that helps with the cost.
It does. That's
Okay.
correct.
Do we look at more of these types of programs at some point, or?
Well, we are actually reviewing some of those with Jana now to see if there would be a better or stronger program that the county could participate with. Yes.
Would that include like gym memberships?
I mean, we've offered gym memberships before and it very few, less than 5 people used it, and the administrative cost for us to pay the bill wasn't worth it. But it is an overall look at the program. What are we teaching our employees? What are we asking them to do to be healthier, to help keep these costs down?
So seeing their doctor, getting their annual checkups is a really key thing to catch things earlier. And everybody's finding that the earlier we can start to treat that, the lower the total cost really is. But you'll find, only a small number of people, roughly 5 people in each year, in the first 6 months of 23, or the last 6 months, the most current period, there was only 5 people that accounted for $2 million. So you can see how quickly claims can eat up a lot of premium just with a few large claims that come through. But I do want to assure you, there has been no discussion. They are not having any issues with Pottawatomie County. They're happy that you're participating in their program. And, they're looking to grow, which is important. So we also watch how many new members join the IGHCP because that helps alleviate the pressure on more premium from the existing group.
Or total new premium to you will be 10,700,000.
Well, that would be under this scenario. In your handout here, this is the actual settled amount.
Page 9.
So
9 million.
9.9 million.
9,903,171.96.
Correct. And that's based on the enrollments, which are over on the left. You'll see 107 singles and 344 families that participate.
Takes a lot of dollars to do healthcare.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
Yeah. If you take a look at page 9. And Jim, you can jump in here if you need to. When you take a look at that Walmart, the base plan 13. And you look at the IGHCP line. You take the costs that are on the bottom of the Walmart column. And subtract it from the costs on the bottom of the IGHCP line. Is that our increase in costs?
Right.
321,000. Is that right?
That's correct.
We have that budgeted, Mitch.
Yeah, we have a budget right now.
Okay, I'll take a look at the board's budget. Real quick. Mike or Kim, on that co-insurance line on that same page. What has Walmart or Wellmark at 70% and the IGHCP at 90? What's the difference there?
So the county, Potawatomi County also has a partial self-funded portion that reduces the deductible, the very first line to the employees from 5,000 to 750. They also pay more co-insurance. So we're buying a 70% plan from Wellmark, but we're providing to the employees that the plan will pay 90%. And the employee pays 10%. So the partial self-fund is included in these numbers. And that is an estimate of the total expenses for both costs, the Blue Cross and the IGHCP portion. So in essence, Tim, the county is reducing the out-of-pocket for the employees versus what we're buying directly from Wellmark.
But where does it talk about our balance in our self-fund?
There is another set of information in your packet that does go through that. As of, I'll just tell you, so as of December, the balance was 741,000.
What
Are
will
you
pull
looking
it?
at this one?
Will you pull it?
No, there's a separate page.
Oh, sorry. I don't think you have that one.
Does that have our self-fund balance from the previous year,
It starts in July.
July of 23?
Yeah. So
We can cover it a little bit.
you did.
We're, very comfortable with that number.
Yeah, there is a sheet, in your packet, and it's the second to last one behind the trends. So this was some of the information that we received from IGHCP and Wellmark at the meeting. It's not stapled, it'd be on the right side of your folder.
It's not stable.
Starts with the key trend. And the second to, I think it's the second to last, third to last page. So one line. And it's relatively small print, so apologize. But they give you the history of your partial self-funded balance. So it does show at the end of the 22-23 plan year, a balance of $400,800. On the left-hand side.
Boy, could you make that writing any smaller, Jim? Or is that Kim's fault?
That's Kim's fault. Look at me now.
He does the good, you do. the bad.
Yeah. Yeah, without my cheaters, but, you can see where that balance dipped in the 22-23 plan year. The county then deposited additional funds.
Just a reminder, we made those changes to the deductible to help with this as well, so that,
Reduce the pressure on,
reduce- yep.
on the partial self-funded.
And we won't see that, as Jim said, for a couple months until we see some claims data coming in.
So we're in no position at all whatsoever to use any of our partial self-fund to lower the increased cost for our health.
Correct. I would not recommend doing that.
You think the extra funds will bring it down
We think it will help.
and keep it healthy?
Well, everybody has that group of information. There are some important trends that I kind of mentioned in the opening statements there, but these are where Wellmark. Behind that, then there is a Wellmark. It does talk about the total enrollment in the IGHCP. So they have a total of 1,694 singles, 2,587 families, so 4,200 employees that are in with your group.
Did everybody in that group get a
Yes,
3.2% increase?
that's correct. So they do it universally across all the plans today. But it's not unusual. I would tell you a lot of these pooled organizations, a lot of times they'll set up tiers. And they may have 5 sets of tiers where maybe the lowest loss ratio groups are at tier 1 and their highest loss ratio groups are at tier 5. And there could be as much as a 20% difference between all those tiers. IGHCP, which is the way we prefer to do it, is straight across the board. All for one and one for all, because there will be years where Potawatomi County will run better and help add to that pool as well. So they benefit from your size and bringing more strength to the program. But they did do a level increase across the board.
Yeah, so, shoot from the hip here, maybe you know, are we subsidizing other counties in this plan or are they subsidizing us?
They are subsidizing you.
Awesome. Good. No, that's not awesome. But
It works for now. And they don't get to see each of the individual performances, so there's no public record of that, but we can compare you to the total and see what your loss ratio is.
well, it's more than 100%. It's 100, what'd you say?
117.
17%.
Yep. All the other lines of coverage, there were no changes and there was no increases to the rates. So the medical is the only one that we would think of discussion, but happy to discuss any of those other benefit lines with you.
I don't have any question. Meaning, yeah, there's really not, there isn't really anything we can do about it. I wish there was.
I think our renewal is very fair for having our loss ratio what it is. You're right, and there's nothing to do about it this year. If you're curious and just want to look at these later, the black and yellow ones just show you how we are compared to the other people in IGHCP and then other public administration groups. So to look at, how do our out-of-pocket maximums compare to everybody else? I thought that was really interesting information for you. We don't have to go over that. You can look at that.
Kim, I appreciate you coming. It's good to see you again. Kim, same as you.
Thank you.
Nice,
I'm
nice to
really
keep the
glad
premium down.
that it was as low as it was.
Thank you.
I expected
Yeah.
more than that. But still,
I do
a three
appreciate you
hundred thousand dollar
looking-
hit's a hit.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
No action to be taken today.
No action.
No, I put this on as just a discussion only. That way you could vote on this when you vote on the other pieces of your budget. And in case you had other questions, again, after you had further budget study sessions and if you thought about this more. So today is just a discussion.
And we're happy to answer any questions
I
that,
do have a suggestion.
yeah.
Your firm could make a large donation to our bike trail.
Oh.
Didn't you say to see last year too?
More healthy people here.
Okay, yeah, we do think,
Yeah.
we do think getting steps is important, whether that's pedaling or walking. So that's good. Thank you,
Yeah.
Brian.
It's worth a try.
Can I have one more? thing?
Yes.
Kim or Mike, or Jim, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I was thinking about Mike. I really wanted to roast him a little bit, but no. A few years ago, we did a look at providers and who would be able to provide the best opportunities in costs and plans for our employees. When do we do that again, or do we do that?
We do. It's best to do that when your claims look better. There's here in Iowa, Nebraska, Wellmark is the biggest and the strongest carrier. Second is United Healthcare. Cigna would play in this market, but they're not as strong here as they are in other states. There's Medica, so there's not as many opportunities. I would tell you, the cost structure that IGHCP has is good. We review a lot of independent employers at a point where it would look like the county would benefit either in their fixed costs or in their claims management. Then it would make sense to say, let's go to market. Let's look at those other carriers we mentioned. But right now, the other counties are supporting some of your costs. So you're saving 8% on your premium, probably pretty easily, just 8. It might even be a bigger delta from the open market. So we would make a recommendation to you, Tim, that it's not unusual to do that every 2 or 3 years, to look at the other markets. But I can tell you directly, even going through our renewal that we worked up, if that was showing below the IGHCP, we might say to you, time to look, let's do that. So we would run that periodically, share with Jana, give you plenty of time to discuss. But I think that would be the wrong move right now.
You look at it in the fall.
Generally, late summer is when we would start for January changes. And again, you were successful in asking the employees to make changes to their plan design just this January. So they went from a 250 to a 750 deductible. That change alone will have some impact to your claims and should help the outlook of your plan.
Okay, sorry, Susan, now I'm done.
Well, thank you both for coming in and making the
Thanks.
presentation, and for Jana for steering us through all of this.
Yes, thank you.
All right, any committee appointments that
Take
anybody
care.
wants to speak on? Moving to public comments, do we have some that have signed up?
Scratch for new mom.
Podium or did I just talk?
But let me begin by reading the statement. Now begins our public comment portion of the agenda. In an effort to protect the privacy of individuals and reduce the potential broadcasting of defamatory and/or confidential information, our live broadcast will now end. Information regarding public comments and the public comment policy can be made available upon request. The board